Do you need a trade? Is your team incapable of winning with the current state of things right now? Are you 1 win, 2 wins in, and you're literally do or die? These are the players you want to trade for. I'm not saying they're risk-free. I'm not saying Derrick Henry's a great player to go get with no risk. It's easy. Go get him. This is for people that need to make a move. They can't afford to sit and wait. They have to take a gamble. And all these players have had their bye week already, which gives you an extra advantage of trying to squeeze out that extra W, as you might face opponents that have players on bye weeks in the next handful of weeks. This is an advantage point for you. Even if you're winning, this is an advantage point, and these players still apply. All this advice will still help you if you're winning your league or you're a little better off than I just described. But this specifically, this video will help those of you that need to take a swing. You've got to. There's no other choice. You can't win with what you got, or you can't afford to lose one more game, and you got bye weeks coming up. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
The first player I want to talk about is Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry could be a top 5 running back moving forward. I'm not saying it's a great bet. I'm saying it might be 50-50 at this point. But if you're like telling me, I can't win, Smitty. I can't win. I can't lose one more game. I need to take a gamble. Help me get rid of my Amon-Ra St. Brown. Help me get rid of JSN, even though nobody wants you trading JSN right now. Nobody. But if you can't win with JSN, set him free. Let him go get you a package, a 2-player, 2-for-1. You give away 1, they give you 2. They can at least put you in good positioning to try and take a home run swing. And this man is a home run. If you could get a player like Henry and, let's say, couple that with a wide receiver like a Dunze that's bye-week free, you get a Dunze and Henry together, and you're able to potentially swing that for a JSN. It's a gamble worth taking for the team that cannot win with JSN. What about Mike Evans? Mike Evans and Henry together. What about probably Devontae Adams is off the table right now. Rashee Rice off the table. You could probably go after maybe a Lab McConkey and get an additional player like Harvey or Hendy just thrown into the deal so you can stash somebody. Maybe a Woody Marks before he plays. Maybe Woody Marks does nothing and he's meaningless to you anyway. Maybe he does something on Monday night and he's worth grabbing. There's a lot of opportunities out there to grab players that have bad games. And there are several players that come to mind last week that we can use as examples of players you should have gone and got this week. Judkins struggled last week. 3 touchdowns this week. Hat trick. And people were scared to death of him walking into this week number 7. And he exploded. That buy window is closed. James Cook on a bye. So struggled going into the bye. He needs to be thrown on this list as well. I'll throw him on here because James Cook is a great go-get if the price is right. And it might be, it might not be for James Cook. It just kind of depends. He started off so strong, it's possible that his owner doesn't really want to trade him. But he's certainly somebody that we need to discuss, so we'll throw him on here as well. We're talking Derrick Henry, though. So if you were to trade Derrick Henry for, let's say, I'm looking at the RBs right now, and Achane had a bad game. What if you could get Devon Achane and still get an additional player? Maybe it's Lab McConkey. Maybe it's something small. Maybe JMO, you get him before the game kicks off. And if JMO does badly or does mediocre, then you can maybe get him after the game. But this might be a move you make and execute before kickoff for the Monday night Week 7 game, because those 2 games have not yet occurred. We're moving on to Week 8 because Week 7 is played except for the 2 Monday night games. Those are 2 really good options for you. Chase Brown. Kyren Williams struggled. You could go get Kyren Williams potentially with a Derrick Henry, and you send away St. Brown and another player. You know, those are all things that would be on my mind if I'm trying to acquire Derrick Henry. Or in the case of Kyren, it might be Kyren and a Dunze that you're going and getting using St. Brown, using that player that's doing very, very well right now. that you're trying to sell high. Even if we said sell Judkins high, you listened to me. You wouldn't acquire Judkins. He had a 3-touchdown hat trick. Now you're not winning with him. You still can't win, even though you got Judkins, and now you got to turn that into something. You might be able to get a Dunze and James Cook, both without a bye week going forward for your Quinshon Judkins. You might be able to get a London and a, let's call it Lamar for your quarterback situation, because the Lamar owner's plenty happy with the Drake May situation they got going on, or Baker Mayfield, or maybe they got Jackson Dart and they're excited about that situation. Maybe they got Bo Nix. Maybe they don't want to wait on Lamar. So you get London and Lamar for your St. Brown. Now you got a quarterback that can carry you week in and week out. Of course, this is a one quarterback conversation. Justin Jefferson, very cheap. JJ coupled with, and I'm not saying everybody's going to have these combos of bye week free players, but you're getting the sense of what I'm looking for. Josh Allen and Jefferson for your St. Brown and another player. I'm certainly trading a Jacobs off of a 2-touchdown game, low yardage, 2 touchdowns, to go get a Henry and a piece, to go get a London and a piece, to go get a Lamar and another player, to get a James Cook and another player. I'm getting a combo of 2 players that I like a whole lot going forward for my said Jacobs, for my said player popping off. Now, there are special cases here where if you're trading Christian McCaffrey, or you're trading JT, or you're trading Jamar Chase, or you're trading JSN, that you have to go and get the world, or Bijan. You're going and getting the world, or you're not trading them. That advice has been the same for weeks, for the whole season. People don't hear me. They don't listen. I'm not going to go into tremendous detail about how you trade a big stud like that. If you think you just go get your the highest offer, you're not listening. You go get 2 absolute straight savages. You could trade a JT right now for a, let's say Gibbs struggles. If he doesn't, then he throw Gibbs out. You could trade JT right now for a game, 1 game struggling Devon Achane, and get a London if you wanted. If you needed to take a swing, you've been absolutely blasted with injuries. That advice doesn't apply to somebody that's got JT or Christian McCaffrey or Bijan that's got 5 wins. If you're 5-2 or 6-1 or 7-0, why are you going to try and fix what isn't broken? You don't trade at all. You entertain offers you can't refuse, but you don't trade at all. In terms of owning a JT or owning a Jamar Chase and you're a 2 or 3 win team, it is time to cash in. Because what else are you going to do? You're not winning with them. Set them free. Let them help you try and climb back into this thing. Let them help you get an HN and you take a gamble on a London. You let them get you a player that is this week's version of last week's Judkins, who went absolutely ballistic this week like we predicted that he would be. Mahomes, can't buy him low anymore. Rice, can't buy him low anymore. Buka, you might be able to, but he's coming back potentially on Monday night. Now, I think he's less than 50% likely to play, but he certainly could suit up. But that indication alone is going to make his owner think, okay, I'm really close to Buka coming back. Buka might be hard to buy low. Javonte was another one. I talked about how Judkins was very doubted going into week number 7. Javonte was very doubted going into week number 7. Now look at Javonte. He's again untouchable in a realistic trade, or a trade that would help you. These are the guys. These are the guys. In the way you trade is you anchor. It's called anchoring. You take one player that you're targeting, right? So pick all these guys. Go to these rosters and you're anchoring to that player. So you look at the squad and you say, boom, JJ. Who does the JJ owner have? What can I grab from the roster to trade my St. Brown, to trade my high-scoring monster that you don't want to trade, but you have to trade away to get 2 different players? Anchor to one of these players, see what you can concoct from the team that you're trying to trade with. And if they don't have anything, you move on. And you're specifically looking for 2 players that have served their bye week already. So if you're on the JJ team and they do have an Adunze, it's complicated to go after two wide receivers for 1 wide receiver, but maybe you need that. Maybe that's exactly what you need. Maybe you need a quarterback badly. You anchor onto Josh Allen and you say, well, I can trade my St. Brown down to London because I believe in London enough that I'm getting Josh Allen and they've got Drake May, and you throw in something small, you get it done. Guys that are good players to throw in, Quentin Johnston. There are a plethora of players that have value that you could say could be shaky. It could be shaky walking into the future weeks. Kamara is still very shaky. I think that if we're looking at RBs, man, the RBs are just really thin right now. Mason's kind of a player that I don't really trust, but I would. Hampton injured, you could send him packing in some sort of 2-for-2 that really is designed to really be treated like a 2-for-1 for you. Tight ends like Kraft, you could get rid of Kraft. You could sell. I mean, you could pick up. Let's say you've got a tight end you feel pretty competent with, Ertz or whatever. Maybe you got Tyler Warren. You could pick up Gadsden off waivers and try and sell him in the 2-for-1 or the 2-for-2 deal, and then make it feel like it is a 2-for-2 for them, but it really is an objective of you getting two players. Wide receivers that I think fit the bill for players to try and acquire in conjunction with these guys. If you're trying to acquire one of these bye-week free players like Allen, JJ, Henry, Odunze, Cook, London, Lamar, you could couple them with potentially at wide receiver. Let's say you were to go James Cook and a player. Ladd still applies as somebody I want to get if the price is right. BTJ's a throw-in because he's injured right now, so that's not somebody you're going to try and go target, but if they throw him in, I've said this before, I really like Mike Evans coming back from injury as a potential player that if you coupled with Cook, or if you traded for Derrick Henry and Mike Evans for using one player, this guy is kind of forgotten. I'm not saying his owner isn't itching to get him back in the lineup, but they're also maybe fearing that he's going to come back and get hurt, and they're trying to get rid of him and wash their hands of him before that injury happens again. Some people trade scared. So this would be a great combo if this combo exists in your league. Evans and Henry, Evans and Cook, Odunze and Henry, Odunze and Josh Allen, or Odunze and Lamar. These are really, and I'm going to throw Evans on here, even though he's not bye-week free. These are the players I'm really trying to get people to target. And if I'm going to throw more players on regardless of bye week, so you had originally, if I take Evans off real quickly, this is the bye week free group that gives you that strategic advantage. If you need wins, you're 1 win, 2 wins, you're trying to take advantage of everybody's bye week situations and win during that time while everybody's weak, everybody's sleeping, you're out doing work and getting W's to try and catch back up. I'm going to throw the bye week players, regardless of bye week, on screen, the players I love to buy. JMO, again, Evans, these guys are going to play, and they might affect their value. They might be too late to get them after kickoff. So some of these deals you might need to get accepted before kickoff happens. Love them. Adams was a buy low last week. Judkins was a buy low last week on this channel. We talked a lot about Javonte being somebody you might want to go all in on. We did say Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey did not have a big day. He still remains somebody that I would be very interested in pulling in to my roster, especially if the price is right. So I'm going to put Ladd on here. People can run away from Ladd. I think there's still a chance he produces low-end wide receiver 1 numbers at some point. That probably, I don't want to say this is it, but these are the featured players I'm really intrigued and interested in getting for all of you. And I'd sell Devontae Smith really high off a huge week 7 contest if the price was right. I'm not saying get rid of him. I love buying low on, like ETN's hard because he hasn't done anything, and Tootin could get in there. Make sure Tootin's not on waivers. I'm very intrigued by this is a big name player, but Achane is definitely going to be cheaper today than he was yesterday. I don't know how much, but it's certainly a player you need to consider. So Achane will set right there. Chase Brown, I don't know if he's going to be necessarily cheaper, but you look at it. Gibbs, I'm going to say right now, depends on how he plays. If Gibbs has a bad game, his owners are kind of freaking out a little bit. I don't think they're going to trade him before the contest tomorrow, but if he has a bad or mediocre game, you look into it, you add him to the list. Bucky's injured right now. People can't really wait. It's not necessarily the best move for somebody that's trying to get a W when they can't afford to get an L at all. So be careful with this one. But I do think Bucky is a very good player to consider in a deal, especially if it's the right 2-for-1 and you're kind of like cleaning up on the deal. So we'll say that we're getting close to potentially closing in on all my favorite buy lows for the week. Scat kind of had a good day, but also some people feel disappointed that he didn't, have as big of a day as they expected, but he had a solid day. It's kind of weird, the vibe around Scataboo this week. I think people were expecting him just to be louder, and they didn't get exactly what they wanted, so they're disappointed. But he had a touchdown. He had a receiving touchdown. Just didn't barrel over 100 yards. He wasn't close to 100 yards rushing, but combined, he had solid yardage and a touchdown. But still a very good buy low. People are still very skeptical about what he could bring to the table. Genty in some ways I would buy low if the price is right. And I'm talking about where you're trading one big player for a player you quietly think has the ability to be near as good as the player you're giving up when you're getting Genty in some sort of very light 2-for-2 swap where you're throwing somebody else in or you get Genty for free. Not saying it's, always going to happen, but these are the players that I want you to get. To an extent, the guys that have the buys coming up, I want them to. But these are the players. These are the best values for those of you looking for a big swing. And again, some of these players might be good buy lows even if you're doing well. But for the most part, understand the majority of what I'm talking about today is you're not trading something if everything's working. You're not chasing down a trade and getting crazy and banking on a Henry all of a sudden, or banking on JJ's situation to not be so problematic week in and week out with this quarterback situation that you go and screw up something that's working. No one's saying to chase the Atlanta situation right now because it did look bad. It looked great the week prior. It looks bad this week. That's fantasy. That's fantasy football. Right now, London and the Falcons looks bleak right now. It could change. And I absolutely buy Bijan. I don't think anybody sells Bijan cheap, but if he was cheaper today than yesterday, I look at it. No doubt. Lamar, people are so disappointed in that team and the situation, and he's catching a lot of flack right now in the fantasy football space. You'd take a gamble on it. Kyron, people think Kyron's trash after amazing weeks, one after the other. Now he's a concern. I like all these guys. If the price is right in the right situation, appreciate you all. And don't forget, I have a live chat Patreon, 24/7 live chat group, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Check it out. Don't forget to play Underdog. Promo code Smitty, play 5 and get 5. Play 5 and get 100 on Underdog using the link that's in the description of this video, the link that's in the description of every video, and code Smitty also gets it done. And don't forget to get your pair of Gunner blue light blocking glasses.
Of the week, brought to you by Gunner.com.
Don't forget to get your pair of Gunner blue light blocking glasses. These are the Witcher that I'm showing you right now. The Witcher, they got like this amazing detailed leather side on each of the sides there. My favorite are the clicks. I love these right here. I have a whole rack, 2 racks of these, and I'm telling you right now, these Gunners are fantastic. They're blue light blocking glasses, 15% if you use code Smitty or the link in the description. But these block the blue light. They help calm you at night. They help keep eye strain to a minimum. It's all about eye health, and I suffer from a lot of migraines when I'm exposed to all these lights and everything, and I don't have migraines anymore. Ever since I started wearing blue light blocking glasses, I don't get migraines from inside my studio, at least. And so when I wear these, and even if I have a headache from just outside externally, and I come in here and I put my blue light blocking glasses on, specifically the sunglass tint version for me inside this light box that I live in, it helps me tremendously. It'll calm down any sort of headache I might even have. So get a pair. Link in description, code Smitty, gets you 15% off. I'll see you guys all on the live stream. I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. I'm live additionally whenever big news breaks, and I'm live at midnight Eastern almost every single night. See you all later.